Tonight, somewhere in America, cooking dinner without a kitchen. No stove, no sink, no electricity, just a weak flame shaking in the wind and the constant fear of being seen. One wrong moment and everything disappears. The fire is gone. The food is gone. The place is gone. But hunger does not wait. Hunger never waits. While millions of homes glow with warm lights, running water, and working appliances, this person crouches behind a grocery store, shielding a small fire made from cardboard and scraps of wood. Cars pass by. People walk past. Most never notice. This is how survival looks when a kitchen disappears. This is how food is prepared when there are no walls, no locks, and no protection. In the United States, hundreds of thousands of people wake up every single day without access to a kitchen. No refrigerator to keep food fresh. No clean counter to prepare meals. No safe heat to cook without fear. Yet hunger still arrives. Cold still arrives. The body still demands food. Eating becomes a daily crisis that must be solved again and again. A kitchen is more than a room. It is security. It is control. It is dignity. A kitchen allows people to choose when they eat, what they eat, and how they take care of their health. When that space disappears, every meal becomes uncertain. Food spoils quickly. Supplies get stolen. Cooking tools are lost, taken, or destroyed. Nothing stays where it was left. Nothing feels safe. For people experiencing homelessness, cooking is never comfortable. It is stressful and dangerous. Using fire can lead to arrest. Staying too long in one place can lead to being forced out. Being noticed can mean losing everything in minutes. So meals are rushed. Fires are hidden. Food is cooked quickly, sometimes half-cooked, sometimes burned, sometimes eaten cold because there is no time. Many people stop cooking altogether and memorize the city instead. They know which gas stations have microwaves, which convenience stores allow people to heat food without asking questions, which public buildings have warm water or open restrooms. This information spreads quietly because losing access can mean going hungry. One broken microwave can affect dozens of people in a single neighborhood. But microwaves require packaged food. And packaged food is often cheap, processed, and unhealthy. High in salt, high in sugar, low in nutrition. Hunger may be reduced, but health slowly fades. Bodies weaken. Energy disappears. Illness becomes common. Others survive on cold meals day after day. Canned food eaten straight from the can. Bread and peanut butter. Crackers. Instant noodles without water. These foods keep the body alive, but they slowly drain the spirit. Eating becomes repetitive. Joy disappears. Life becomes endurance instead of living. Water becomes another daily struggle. Clean water is hard to find. Public restrooms close early or stay locked. Drinking fountains are shut off. Businesses refuse access. Without water, cooking becomes impossible. Cleaning becomes impossible. Hands cannot be washed properly. Utensils stay dirty. Illness spreads easily. Small infections turn serious. Many people living this way once had kitchens of their own. They once cooked meals for their families. They once stood at stoves without fear. One job loss, one medical emergency, one unexpected crisis was enough to remove everything. Homelessness is not a choice. It is vulnerability meeting a system with no room for mistakes. To understand how homeless people cook without kitchens, we must first understand what it means to live without certainty. Because in this reality, food is never just food. It is fear. It is calculation. It is survival. When cooking begins without a kitchen, heat becomes the first problem. There is no stove to turn on, no oven to preheat, no microwave waiting on a counter. Heat must be created from nothing. Some people rely on small camping stoves, usually old, damaged, or shared between several people. These stoves are fragile. Fuel runs out quickly. One broken part can make the entire stove useless. Others use small grills or makeshift burners built from metal scraps. Many rely on open fires. Pieces of wood, cardboard, trash, anything that can burn becomes fuel. Fire becomes the stove. But fire is dangerous. Fire attracts attention. In many American cities, open flames are illegal, even when used for cooking or warmth. A single flame can lead to police arriving, tickets being issued, or camps being cleared. People know this. That is why cooking often happens at night, hidden from view, far from busy streets. Every meal is rushed. There is no time to relax. There is no time to cook slowly. Food is placed on the fire, stirred quickly, removed before anyone notices. Sometimes the food is not fully cooked. Sometimes it is burned. Sometimes it is dropped on the ground and still eaten, because there is no replacement. Hunger forces decisions that most people never have to make. Fire is also dangerous inside encampments. Tents sit close together. Belongings are packed tightly. One mistake can cause everything to burn. People have lost clothes, documents, medicine, and food in seconds. Some have been injured. Some have lost their only shelter. Yet the fire keeps coming back, because without it, there is no hot food at all. Because of this danger, many people avoid fire completely. Instead, they search for heat elsewhere. They learn the city in detail. Which gas stations have microwaves? Which convenience stores allow food to be heated without questions? Which places look the other way for a few minutes? This knowledge becomes survival currency. It is shared quietly, trusted carefully, because once a location becomes known, it can be taken away. Microwaves offer safety from fire, but they create new problems. Microwaves only work with packaged food. Fresh food cannot be stored. Raw food cannot be prepared. Everything must come in plastic or cardboard. This limits choices. It also affects health. Packaged food is often cheap and filling, but low in nutrients. High salt, high sugar, and preservatives slowly damage the body. Using public microwaves also means constant movement. Walking long distances while carrying food. Waiting in lines. Watching the clock. If a store closes, the opportunity is gone. If staff decide to say no, the meal is lost. There is no backup plan. There is only hunger. Cooking without a kitchen is never stable. It is a daily negotiation between risk and reward. Fire or no fire. Hot food or safety. Visibility or hunger. There is no perfect option, only the least dangerous one in that moment. When heat is unavailable and cooking becomes too risky, food turns cold. This is where many homeless people end up. Cold meals become routine. Canned beans eaten straight from the can. Tuna without seasoning. Bread, crackers, peanut butter. Instant noodles crushed dry and eaten by hand. These foods keep the body alive, but they slowly wear the mind down. There is no comfort in cold food. No sense of normal life. Eating becomes mechanical, something done only to stop the pain of hunger. Cold meals also change how people think about food. There is no anticipation, no enjoyment. Meals are skipped more often. Some people eat once a day, some eat every other day. Food is rationed carefully because no one knows what tomorrow will bring. Hunger becomes something to manage, something to negotiate with. People learn how long they can go without eating. They learn how to ignore stomach pain. This is adaptation. Water becomes the next major struggle. Cooking, even cold food preparation, depends on water. But clean water is one of the hardest things to access without a home. Public restrooms close early or stay locked. Drinking fountains are shut off, especially at night or during winter. Businesses often refuse access. Carrying water becomes a constant responsibility. Bottles are refilled whenever possible. Every drop matters. Without water, even basic food becomes dangerous. Cans cannot be cleaned. Hands cannot be washed. Utensils stay dirty. Bacteria spreads easily. Stomach illness is common. Dehydration becomes a serious threat, especially in hot weather. People must choose between using water to drink or using it to clean. Between staying hydrated or staying healthy. There is never enough for both. Without water, wounds become infected. Small cuts turn serious. Food poisoning becomes life-threatening. What would be minor problems in a housed life become emergencies on the street. Hospitals see the result, but rarely the cause. The absence of a kitchen, the absence of water, slowly destroys the body from the inside. Food storage is another invisible problem. Without a refrigerator, nothing lasts. Meat spoils quickly. Dairy becomes dangerous. Even cooked food cannot be saved for later. What is not eaten immediately is often lost. This forces people to eat everything at once or throw it away. Waste becomes unavoidable. Hunger and waste exist side by side. The lack of storage also invites theft. Food is valuable on the street. Leaving food unattended means risking everything. People sleep with their food. They hide it in bags. They move constantly to protect it. Even then, food disappears. When food is stolen, there is no replacement. There is only hunger. Many people experiencing homelessness once lived normal lives with kitchens and routines. They once planned meals. They once shopped for groceries. They once worried about taste and nutrition. Now, food is reduced to calories and survival. Eating is no longer a pleasure. It is a task. Living without a kitchen changes how people see themselves. It removes independence. It removes control. It creates constant stress. When every meal depends on luck, access, and fear, the mind never rests. Survival becomes full-time work. Cooking without a kitchen is not just difficult, it is exhausting. Despite everything, people find ways to survive together. Homelessness is often imagined as isolation, but on the streets, community quietly forms. One person might have a small stove, another might have a pan. Someone else brings food they manage to get that day. Together, they create temporary kitchens in open spaces, hidden corners, and abandoned lots. These moments are rare, fragile, and deeply human. Shared meals mean more than calories. They mean connection. They mean dignity. Sitting together, even on the ground, reminds people that they still belong somewhere. For a short time, fear fades. Hunger feels manageable. Conversation returns. These moments restore something homelessness constantly tries to take away: identity. But these shared kitchens are never stable. They exist under constant threat. A single complaint from a nearby resident, a call to police, a city cleanup notice, and everything disappears. Pots are thrown away. Stoves are confiscated. Food is destroyed. People are forced to move, often with minutes of warning. What took weeks to build is erased in a single afternoon. Shelters are often seen as the solution, but shelters are not kitchens. They provide meals, not control. Food is served at fixed times. Choices are limited. Portions are small. Dietary needs are often ignored. Many shelters cannot accommodate everyone. Some require long waits. Some have strict rules that make people feel unsafe or unwelcome. Others are overcrowded, loud, and stressful. For many, shelter meals are survival, not stability. Because shelter food cannot be stored, people remain dependent. Miss a mealtime and there is no backup. Leave the shelter and the food stays behind. Independence disappears. The ability to cook for oneself, to decide what and when to eat, is gone. Over time, the lack of a kitchen takes a toll on health. Poor nutrition weakens the immune system. Chronic illness becomes harder to manage. Diabetes, heart disease, and digestive problems worsen without proper meals. Medicine must often be taken with food that is unavailable. Doctors treat symptoms, but the cause remains unchanged. The body absorbs the stress of constant uncertainty. Sleep is poor. Hunger interrupts rest. The mind stays alert, always planning the next meal, the next safe place, the next move. Survival becomes a full-time job with no breaks. Many people experiencing homelessness remember what cooking used to feel like. Standing in a kitchen, choosing ingredients, preparing meals without fear. That memory does not disappear. It stays, reminding them of what was lost. The absence of a kitchen is not just physical, it is emotional. Cooking represents normal life. It represents independence. It represents home. When that is taken away, people are forced into a constant state of dependence and anxiety. Every meal becomes temporary. Every solution feels fragile. Yet people keep going. They adapt, they share, they survive. Not because it is easy, but because there is no alternative. And in these shared meals, even under threat, humanity quietly refuses to disappear. America is one of the richest countries in the world. Yet for many people, a kitchen has become an unreachable luxury. Rising rent pushes families out. Job instability turns paychecks into uncertainty. Medical bills arrive without warning and take everything that was saved. For many, homelessness does not begin with a single bad decision. It begins with one moment where the system offers no second chance. When housing is lost, the kitchen is often the first thing to disappear and the last thing to return. Without it, daily life becomes unstable. Food choices vanish. Health declines. Independence fades. What remains is constant dependence on access, permission, and luck. People begin to organize their lives around meals instead of goals, around survival instead of progress. Cooking is not only about food, it is about control over one's own life. It is the ability to care for the body without asking permission. When that control is removed, stress becomes constant. The mind never rests. Every day begins with the same question. Where will the next meal come from, and how risky will it be to get it? This constant pressure reshapes people. Decisions become short-term. Long-term planning feels impossible when hunger is always close. People become exhausted, not just physically, but mentally. The effort required to secure food without a kitchen consumes time, energy, and hope. What looks like inactivity from the outside is often extreme effort on the inside. Society often judges homelessness by what is visible: tents, encampments, people eating on sidewalks. But what is less visible is the daily calculation behind every bite of food. The fear of being moved. The fear of being seen. The fear of losing the little that remains. Cooking without a kitchen is not a choice. It is a forced adaptation to a system that does not bend easily. Many people experiencing homelessness want what everyone else wants: a place to cook, a place to store food, a place to eat without fear. These are not luxuries. They are basic human needs. Yet they remain out of reach for hundreds of thousands of Americans. When we talk about hunger, we often talk about food banks and charity meals. These help, but they do not replace kitchens. They do not restore independence. They do not allow people to manage their own health. A meal solves hunger for a moment. A kitchen solves hunger with dignity. The absence of a kitchen turns life into a series of temporary fixes. Nothing lasts. Nothing feels secure. Even success feels fragile. One missed opportunity can mean starting over from nothing again. This instability keeps people trapped in survival mode. Understanding how homeless people cook without kitchens means understanding the deeper cost of homelessness itself. It is not only about where people sleep. It is about how they eat, how they care for themselves, and how much control they are allowed to have over their own lives. Until kitchens return to people's lives, homelessness will continue to be more than a housing crisis. It will remain a health crisis, a dignity crisis, and a human crisis. The question is not whether homeless people can cook without a kitchen. They already do, every day. With risk, with fear. With creativity most people will never need to develop. The real question is why they have to. When someone cooks behind a store, under a bridge, or in the dark of night, it is not because they prefer it. It is because there is no safer option. Every hidden flame, every cold meal, every rushed bite is a reminder that survival has replaced normal life. What should be simple has become dangerous. What should be private has become public. A kitchen represents more than food. It represents stability. It represents the ability to plan tomorrow. Without it, life stays trapped in today. Hunger keeps people focused on the next hour instead of the next year. Progress becomes almost impossible when survival takes all the energy. Most people will never experience what it means to cook without walls, without water, without safety. They will never know the stress of eating while watching for danger. They will never feel the exhaustion of constant improvisation, but for hundreds of thousands of Americans, this is daily life. Homelessness is often discussed in numbers, policies, and headlines, but it is lived in small moments. In the choice between fire and safety. In the decision to eat now or save food for later. In the fear of being seen while doing something as basic as cooking a meal. Until people are given the ability to cook safely again, to eat without fear, to control their own nourishment, homelessness will continue to steal more than shelter. It will steal health. It will steal dignity. It will steal time. A kitchen may seem ordinary, but without it, survival becomes a full-time job. and no one should have to fight this hard just to eat. The question is not whether homeless people can cook without a kitchen. They already do it every single day, quietly, carefully, and at great risk. The real question is why they are forced to live this way in a country with so much wealth. Cooking behind stores, under bridges, or in dark corners is not a choice. It is the last option left when safer options do not exist. A kitchen is not just a place to make food. It is a place where life feels stable. It allows people to plan tomorrow instead of only surviving today. Without it, hunger controls time, energy, and decisions. Every meal becomes temporary. Every solution feels fragile. Progress becomes difficult when survival consumes everything. Most people will never experience the stress of eating while watching for danger, or the exhaustion of planning meals without heat, water, or safety. But for hundreds of thousands of Americans, this is daily reality. Homelessness is not only about where people sleep, it is about how they eat, how they care for their bodies, and how much control they are allowed to have over their own lives. Food banks and charity meals help, but they do not replace kitchens. They do not restore independence. A meal can ease hunger for a moment, but a kitchen restores dignity. It gives people the ability to care for themselves again. Until people are given safe spaces to cook, to store food, and to eat without fear, homelessness will remain more than a housing issue. It will remain a health crisis, a dignity crisis, and a human crisis.